And we are back here for the second half at the bunker. It's about 1 o'clock Eastern time here in Toronto. And your halftime score is still 69 for the Ohio Roller Girls A team, 56 for Toronto's CN Power. 13-point difference, still obviously anybody's game. This is Mr. Whistler, and Monochrome is going to be back with us shortly. As we're about to get going here, number 12, Kitty Lickerbottom, will be jamming for Ohio. And that's number 2, Defa Caitlin, on the line for CN Power. So we've got 2 skaters in the box for CN Power. So Ohio is going to start this one on a knee, get this one going in a hurry. Having a shorter halftime maybe than we're used to here at Toronto Roller Derby. So Monochrome is making her way back to the booth. Welcome back, Monochrome.
Hi. I was eating biscuits.
Oh, and no one told me they were biscuits.
Too late now. Because this jam is getting started with Defa Caitlin jamming for CN Power.
Yeah, but it looks like Kitty Lickerbottom is close up to the front. Just has Nasher the Smasher to beat, and she does, and she is lead jammer for Ohio. End of that first half, CN Power had an impressive pushback. At one point, they were down by, I think, about 30-some-odd points, and they eventually closed the gap to within 1 before Ohio picked up 13 on a power jam towards the end.
Defa Caitlin getting thrown to the back of the pack, and Kitty Lickerbottom being forced to the back by Nasher the Smasher.
Caitlin finally does clear the pack, but she is not lead.
Ohio doing a great job of isolating CN Power on the inside line, but they do break 3.
And Ohio brings home 4 points. That'll put them up to 73 to CN Power's 56 as Defa Caitlin does not score on that jam. Going to have 5150 Pippi Ripperstockings will be jamming for Ohio.
She didn't even leave the track.
Pigtail. No, I think she was skating all through halftime, actually. And 2020 in the pink, wearing the star for CN Power again. That's Candy Crossbones.
And she does get through. Ohio has lead jammer. Candy Crossbones does get stuck behind one player and does tap her way through on the inside line. Not far behind. Pippi looking for an open spot. Zero points for CN Power. 3 points scored on that pass for Ohio.
Now CN Power may be skating with a shorter bench in this second half. I'm seeing Aston Martini is number 5'10" for CN Power at the end of the bench, her helmet off and an ice pack on her shoulder. I know she's been nursing a shoulder injury. So she may have aggravated something in that first half.
Also, Bambi seems to be talking with EMS.
Yeah, she's also got something on her wrist. I think that was that fall she took late in the first half.
The lip reading, maybe not face, was wrist.
Yes. It's so hard to read lips.
I know. Especially when you know they're yelling.
Yes, and possibly swearing, too. So jamming right now for CN Power, it's 807 Cookie Dough, and she's going up against Hellion Boy for Ohio.
Looks like Betty Bomber thought that she tapped out Hellion, trying to lead her to the back of the pack, but was unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Cookie Dough trying to push this forward, trying to break this pack up. No pack was not called. No pass, no point.
Well, and actually,
no
Hellion Boy did get through, but she is not lead. And I think Cookie is still so close to getting that pass.
Stuck behind the captain of Ohio's team there. Hellion Boy coming in for points. She comes from the outside, jukes to the in, goes back out and scores 5. Yeah, natural grand slam for Ohio.
Yeah, nice little waitress whip there on the end.
Kookie still stuck behind. This 2-wall, it's extremely effective from Ohio.
Yeah, Bratislava Bruiser and Phoenix Buns taking the lead on that, along with 214 Dixie Heartless.
Nash with the smasher, hitting out Hellion Boy, keeping her slowed down. Cookie Dough gets lead, calls it off right away. Just before Ohio was able to score more than the 2 points that they were served by D-.
That's right. So Ohio picked up another bunch of points there. They're now at 83 to 56. CN Power yet to score in the second half. Almost just over 4 minutes gone. Defa Caitlin on the jammer line, and that's going to be Phoenix Buns for Ohio in the black.
Dust Bunny pushing through, but still stuck behind. She comes around her own player, and Ohio does get lead jammer. But Caitlin's out, and she's coming up fast.
Yeah, she's got wheels on her, and looks like Phoenix Buns is content to wait for her. A little jammer on jammer action.
And she calls it before any points are scored in that pass.
So great work by Defa Caitlin to negate that lead jam for Ohio and make her force that call. Kitty Lickerbottom, number 12, will be jamming for Ohio. 2020 Candy Crossbones for Toronto. Looks like a 4-3 pack advantage right now for CN Power.
Both jammers stuck behind. Ohio taking a fall. Candy Crossbones just has one more player to pass, and two. Doing a great job of recycling up to the front there. Betty Bomber trying to break that lead. Nasher the Smasher not able to retain the jamming prowess of Kitty Lickerbottom. And tear apart from CN Power in the pink is sent to the penalty box.
Candy Crossbones now coming up, gets past Lorraine Acid, and she is through. But that was not a scoring pass. Ohio on theirs.
Trying to trap Betty Bomber to the back. And they're able to break that pack up and call it off before Candy Crossbones can score any points. That was 4 points for Ohio.
Kitty Lickerbottom very excited about those 4 points she just got. Big smile as she comes back to the bench. And now we're seeing Cookie Dough once again jamming for CN Power, and that's Hellion Boy, number 54-59 for Ohio. Score right now, 88 for Ohio, 56 for CN Power. Both teams with 3 blockers on the track.
Both teams trying to sort out what they want to do. Rebel Rocket communicating with the bench. Something you're not quite able to do in a open bout. Not sure she would have been able to call direction back and get feedback from her pack.
That's right. Both teams content to kill some time on the clock and try to get their blockers back out. Eventually they cross that pivot line and the jammers are released. Tear Apart is back on with the pivot stripe for CN Power.
And Cookie Dough taking lead jammer. So that did work in CN Power's advantage.
Hellion Boy is through the pack herself. Just about half a lap behind Cookie Dough right now. So Cookie's going to look to...
Number 5150 getting hit out. One point scored for Ohio in that pass.
And no points for Cookie Dough on that jam. So 89 for Ohio, 56 for CN Power. Looks like Defa Caitlin is going to be taking her, picking up her 4th minor deliberately behind the jammer line right now.
First time on the jammer line is Betty Bomber for CN Power.
Quick official timeout. I assume it's going to be quick. They've all been quick so far this afternoon. We're not going to get to that level of the D&N drinking game today, I don't think.
Yep, it was quick. Looks like Defa Caitlin's going to start at the back of this pack. behind the jammer line to get rid of her last minor before she goes out to jam again.
And here at the bunker, you have to go way back into between turn 4 and 3 even to make sure you're behind that point of no return so you don't still have to do a lap to get to the box. Cutting major being called on Lorraine Acid, and now Betty Bomber has a power jam for CN Power.
Now she is a jammer for the home team, Death Track Dolls, so this is not a new position for her.
No, she's definitely a triple threat with the Dolls. Again, CN Power typically doesn't get her to jam, but right now if they're down Bambi, which it appears that they are for this second half, they're going to be shaking up their jammer rotation.
Jubilee, number 27, being called out to the penalty box for CN Power. It's going to make this power jam a little tougher for CN Power to navigate. But Betty Bomber does pass the point of no return, and she does get another 5 points for CN Power. It's absolutely what CN Power needed to close up this gap. Pippi Wrongstockings entering the track as the pivot.
Diffa Kalen's entered for CN Power as a blocker. Hearing the bench calling for a play that obviously the Tri-City Thunder has made very noteworthy here in Southern Ontario. No more points though come in on that last pass, so it's 89-61 as CN Power gets their first points of the second half, 10 minutes in, and it's a 28-point difference, 28-point lead for Ohio. Both jammers are on the track. Candy Crossbones for Toronto. And that's Lorraine Acid. She's going to take another stab at jamming. She went to the box last time, so she's rested, and she's going to be the jammer for Ohio, number 59.
She's got the stop down by Pantyhose in that last turnaround, corner 1. And she takes out Lady Gaga and gets the lead jammer.
Yeah, just bounced right off of her. And let Gaga take the brunt of her own hit.
Acid spins her out, and Candy Crossbones for a natural grand slam here. 5 points scored for Ohio.
Yeah, very nice whirling dervish move by Lorraine Acid.
And it looks like CN Power is 2 blockers, Nasher the Smasher and Jubilee back in play just in time to hit Lorraine on the inside. Not effective hit though. She does make it through for another 5 points. Candy Crossbones still stuck in this pack.
Yeah, a lot of happy noise coming from the Ohio bench right now. As Lorraine Acid is definitely making up for her last trip to the box.
Candy still getting pummeled here in this pack. And this is the point, as if I were jamming here, I'd probably just fall back and prevent that jammer from doing any more damage.
But Lorraine Acid has been sent to the box.
Along with Nasher the Smasher.
So it is a power jam right now for CN Power. Candy Crossbones
Finally making it out of this. And she has that body language that says, finally.
Exactly.
I passed that last skater.
But the time is almost up on this jam, which means that CN Power will be starting the next jam on a power jam.
And it looks like the bench is ready for that. Deffa Caitlin jamming for CN Power. Ohio laying down on the jammer line, waiting for their timeout to be over and for their pack to come out on track.
Yeah, it's number 10, Out of My Way Man, who's on the ground right now for Ohio. And 5150, Pippi Rip Your Stockings, the other blocker on the track right now for Ohio. Official timeout being designated by jam timer Bradycardia. Looks like the blockers for CN Power for this one will be number 22, Mia Culprit, L7, Tara Part, and 23, Betty Bomber.
Nasher the Smasher for CN Power sitting in the penalty box will be probably joining them fairly shortly. She's still seated, but...
Score at the moment is 102 for Ohio, 61 for CN Power. So that 13-point lead that Ohio had at halftime has now gone up to a 41-point lead. Big opportunity, though, for CN Power to get back in it. Third blocker out there for Ohio right now is number 1993, Bratislava Bruiser.
And this is a pack split.
Oh. And her jammer ref is calling Deffa Caitlin for a back blocking major as she was working her way through the pack. And that's going to spring. And that's going to spring the Ohio jammer. Once Caitlin gets in the box, she overskated a point of no return to get into the box.
So now she's going to stake another lap around the track.
So the pack is going jammerless right now, which means they've pretty much stopped between turns 2 and 3. Lorraine Acid now skating up the wrong way so she can get back onto the track behind her pack. And now it's a power jam for Ohio.
This is an initial pass for Ohio, is it not? Yep, it was an initial pass. She is called the lead jammer. Mia Culprit stuck at the back, but CN Power not far behind her. Mia should be changing into a blocker stance here. Nasher the Smasher taking out the jammer for Ohio in black. That's Lorraine Acid being called out on a major. Not seeing the call there. That was a cutting major. Mia Culprit also being sent out.
For those of you keeping track at home, by the way, that is Lorraine Acid's 6th trip to the box.
With only 15 3/4 minutes left in this game, it's not going to bode well for Ohio to lose one of their star jammers here.
Yeah, and Deffa Caitlin now back on the track as the power jam situation reversed yet again. 10 seconds on the jam clock, though. Have to see how much damage can be made.
Now, with all those jammer in the penalty box rotations, is this a point scoring pass for Deffa Caitlin? I believe it was. Yes, she does get 2 points before that whistle blew for time.
No, actually, those points looks like we're coming in for Ohio. Yeah, Caitlin did not pick up anything on that one, it looks like. So it's 104-61 right now for Ohio. Cookie Dough will be the lone jammer on the track. And they're talking about on the bench, too. Caitlin telling the Reverend Ramirez that, no, she hadn't passed anybody, so don't bother fighting for points I didn't get. Save your energy for the ones we're going to need.
Yeah, for sure.
So official timeout being called as they're looking at the whiteboards, trying to add up some numbers.
And to Deffa Caitlin's credit, that's really shows her track awareness that, you know, the bench is thinking that she's scoring points and she's fighting for them, but she knows well and good how many points that
she knows what she's doing. She's been around long enough, and skates typically very clean
and very calm. Like the bench is definitely calmed with her presence. You know, you see a couple of skaters getting pretty fiery, and she's always the first one, even though she's probably the most exhausted on the bench, to just bring everybody together and make sure that that they're fighting as a team rather than fighting each other.
Yeah, she's a big part of CN Power's success this year for sure, and she's also been a big part of her home team, the Go Roller Girls' success over the years as well. So it looks like Penny Whistler did come over and give a heads up to the Ohio bench that their jammer, who's in the box right now, Lorraine Acid, is in there on her 6th trip. So just keep an eye.
CN Power isolating Ohio's blocker number 23, hoping to keep her away from this line and away from their jammer, Cookie Dough.
Pantyhoser and Rebel Rocket have trapped number 216 Kilbasa. Cookie Dough is through as lead jammer.
Lady Gaga going to the penalty box. I believe this is her first trip there. Ohio 4 strong against CN Powers 2. Cookie seeing this black wall does do a little spin stop. Jammer is back on for Ohio and is trying to get past Rebel Rocket and Mia Culprit. Ohio is out of play, and Cookie Dough picks up 5 points in that pass. Ohio not having much headway here getting bounced around.
Lorraine Acid has cleared the pack, but that was just her first pass.
Ohio a
Cookie
little
Dough
late to
calls it.
bridge. Yeah. Cookie Dough scoring more points. That's 4 more for CN Power, closing in this gap.
Yeah, CN Power now up to 70. Ohio is still sitting at 104. Just over 13 minutes remaining in the second half. Betty Bomber is going to be returning to the jammer line for CN Power, and that's number 12, Kitty Lickerbottom for Ohio. Again, CN Power looks like they're intending to start this one on a knee, get it going in a hurry.
Only 2 blockers for Ohio on the track against CN Power's 3, so they're going to take advantage of this advantage. Come on. It's Sunday morning.
It is still somewhere. Betty Bomber looking for some help from Nasher the Smasher. She gets it. Bippy Ripper Stockings, 1 to beat, and Betty Bomber, lead jammer.
See, that advantage went to their advantage.
It totally did. You were on to something.
I was. It's a thing. It's a thing. Ohio still not breaking through this pack. She's stuck behind Nasher the Smasher as Betty Bomber slides around the outside, scoring 5 points. A natural grand slam here for CN Power.
Nasher the Smasher and Jubilee both taking turns on Kitty Lickerbottom.
Nasher just before she leaves the pack. She does sneak through. Finally, Kitty is out of the pack. Bomber takes her 5 points and leaves.
So that gives her 10 for the jam. And now it's 104 to 80 for Ohio. Hellion Boy on the jammer line in the black for Ohio. Number 2, Defa Caitlin for CN Power. Looks like Pantyhose, Mega Mouth, and Rebel in the pack for CN Power. And we're seeing 216 Kilbasa out there with Bratislava Bruiser and Out of My Way Man.
Deking to the in, out to the out. Stuck behind number 10 from Ohio.
Yeah, it's a nice
Good
jump by
footwork
Defa
for both.
Caitlin, too.
That's Out of My Way Man, holding her back.
And I think that's what Caitlin's saying right now is out of my way. Both blockers
They get
go
out of her
down.
way. She's out. Rebel fighting for one last hit, trying to stop that jammer.
Hellion Boy gets through. Checks to make sure she didn't lose her jammer panty in the process.
And Defa Caitlin forced to the outside by 1993. She takes her 2 points and runs away. Oh, she only gets 1 point.
No, they've just given her 1. She might have passed somebody illegally there, but so I only saw the 1 come in from the jammer ref. That's Great Scott from Ohio.
I think maybe they weren't counting that pass by 1993 because she had ducked back.
But every point adds up and counts at this stage of the game. 104 for Ohio, 81 for CN Power. Just over 10 minutes remain.
Both teams trying to figure out who's taking a knee here.
Yeah.
It was a little game of whack-a-mole.
That's right. If only we could give them mallets, that would make this.
Yeah, right? That would be Danger Town. I'm sorry.
Yeah. See, I think that's that old roller derby that people seem to want to talk about.
Yeah.
I think they had the mallets, right?
Yeah. Or balls, or Skinny Minnie Miller.
Yeah.
Like there's all those things people remember that may or may not be true. Alligators and moats.
Yes. Kitty Lickerbottom is the lead jammer, but she got pushed to the back of the pack after getting knocked to the inside. So Cookie Dough is currently ahead of her on the track.
But not having much luck gaining any traction. Ohio doing a nice little pace line, keeping her tied back at the back.
It's Avatar at the back there with the hockey helmet. And Cookie Dough has been sent off. For a back blocking major. I see the call there.
Yeah.
So another power jam for Ohio.
It's tough when you're trying to push that pack forward to not get those back blocks.
Nasha the Smasher takes a low block major. She's in the box now also for CN Power.
Jubilee going to that down skater, forming the pack there.
Now we're seeing that Tri-City move being put on by Ohio.
Jubilee scooping in. They're making a nice baseline here. This looks more like a drill than a pack at this point. CN Power trying to form a wall at the front, keeping it slow. They're calling no pack. And Betty Bomber throwing a solid hit and getting called out for it because there was no pack called.
Oh, only one blocker on the track right now for CN Power at the end of that, and that was Jubilee, the last one standing. So it's going to be a very crowded box for CN Power. Their jammer did get released at the very end of the jam. Reverend Ramirez calling a timeout for CN Power as they need to regroup.
Very thoughtfully, yes. And that also gives the refs and NSOs here a chance to count up these penalties and see who's in danger.
Now it's 8 minutes left on the period clock. Penny Whistler coming down to the penalty box. Oh, and it looks like Bomber, who looked like Bomber was being sent off at the end of that jam, is actually back on the track.
Yep.
So there must have been a clarification there that we did not get, because she was making her way around the outside of the track towards the end of that jam.
I think 2 blockers took credit for that hit, and only one was actually called out. Yeah. So still not boding well for CN Power, only having 2 blockers on this track with Ohio at full strength.
Yeah, so it's going to be Cookie Dough jamming for CN Power, and she is facing off against Phoenix Buns for Ohio. Betty Bomber and Lady Gaga, the only blockers on right now for CN Power. Nasha the Smasher and Tara Part are both in the box right now for Toronto.
And number 23 hitting on number 23, not quite enough. As Phoenix Buns is your lead jammer for Ohio. Cookie Dough still stuck behind a wall of black at the front. Lady Gaga and Betty Bomber having a hard time isolating one of Ohio's blockers. And Phoenix Buns just charges through that pack, scoring a natural grand slam, 5 points for Ohio. Cookie Dough looks like she's becoming a blocker here. She's not going to try to fight her way through this pack. She's going to help her own team. Not quite enough of a pushback, though. Phoenix Buns scoring another 5 points on this pack. Betty Bomber being sent out while Phoenix Buns jukes through. I see they needed to make room. Tara Part was standing.
Yep.
Cookie Dough doing a great job blocking there. Once again, not enough. Ohio scoring another natural grand slam. Nasher entering behind just before Phoenix hits the pack. Still not quite enough time to regroup and join the pack. Phoenix scoring another 5 points. And Tara Part is re-entering.
Yeah, it looks as though Tara had been sent off in error, so Penny Whistler going to bring her back out. But a huge jam for Ohio. And they're now up to 144. CN Power sitting at 81 with 6 minutes left on the clock. Pantyhose making her first appearance with the star, I believe, ever for CN Power. She's been jamming a lot for the Death Track Dolls this year in home games, but this is not a role that we're used to seeing her in with the CN Power. Again, Reverend Ramirez working on mixing up his jammer rotation. So Hoser, Jubilee, Mia, Culprit, and Nasher are going to have a little confab there on the track. Ohio doing the same as they make their plans for what they want to do on this next jam. I think Reverend Ramirez is kind of going up and down the line on his bench and just identifying who's skating clean, who's in danger of going to the box, trying to make sure that he puts together his safest lineups for the remainder of this bout. Try to keep a healthy complement on the track.
And also, this is a great opportunity to try new things. You know, we're sitting here with a 60-point lead for Ohio, and you know, yes, things can happen in 5.5 minutes, but
and we've seen it happen before.
We have seen it. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but but this is a perfect time to sort of see what stars can shine that you don't normally see in play, and especially with the Aston Martini and Bambi sitting off for the rest of this half.
Yep.
It's a good opportunity to get skaters to step up and show off.
Hoser's standing just a little further back of the jammer line there to get going. She's making a push through.
That's her blocker in her. Like, she knows as a blocker where you want to be and what you don't want the jammer to do. And that has been to her advantage. She is now lead jammer for CN Power.
Meanwhile, Kitty Lickerbottom still working her way through the pack.
Stuck behind Betty Bomber, who takes her far back to the back of the pack.
Mia Culprit being sent off for a back block.
And Pantyhoser
picked up a grand slam.
And a natural one at that. Good for her.
Yep.
See, this is how you see those tricky plays come into action.
Kitty Lickerbottom takes a whip from her teammate, and she is through the pack. Hoser takes a hit, calls it from the floor, but she's going to bring in a couple more points than she does for CN Power, bringing it up to 88. Still 149 for Ohio as they picked up a couple of points there too.
Betty Bomber lining up as the jammer for CN Power. Rebel Rocket and Megamouth blocking.
And looking at Hellion Boy on the jammer line for Ohio. Got Kilbasa, Out of My Way Man. And
a few others.
Looking for a number. That's 23. That's Phoenix Buns also blocking for Ohio.
Oh, looks like we changing the pack a bit.
Yeah, Lady Gaga coming on, sending Rebel Rocket back to the bench for CN Power. Looks like Coach Triptease for Ohio looking for some clarification on some of the penalties. And it looks like Nasher the Smasher, who I believe is in the box right now for Toronto, is also in there on her 6th trip. All right, so it looks like they've sorted out their business. 4:20 left on the clock. 149 for Ohio, 88 for Toronto. And it's going to be Betty Bomber and Hellion Boy as your jammers.
Ohio pushing CN Power's 2 blockers to the inside. And Betty Bomber breaking through. Not quite forcing an out-of-play major on Ohio. Oh, huge hit by Megamouth, forcing her out. Still 3 points scored for Ohio, 0 for CN Power on that pass.
That brings Ohio up to 152. Pantyhose back on the jammer line for Toronto. And right now, 1993, that's Bratislava Bruiser jamming for Ohio. She's wearing the C for Ohio today.
CN Power not wasting any time. Unfortunately, they left it wide open for Ohio to get lead jammer. Not quite sure how, but Pennyhoser got a cut major in that scrum start. Jubilee forcing, who is that?
It's Bratislava
Bruiser to the back.
1993.
And she coasts right through, scoring 5 points.
Speaking of bruisers, stay tuned. Shortly after this game, we'll be bringing you the second bout of the day as Ohio's B team takes on Toronto's new B team, the Bay Street Bruisers.
CN Power finally out with 3 blockers on the track. It's been a while since we saw a majority of pink here. And they're pushing this pack to the front, hoping for a nice solid wall. And she pushes them out of play. Nasher the Smasher, not quite bridged.
Pantyhose back on the track now for CN Power. This power jam has ended, but Bruiser is still picking up points.
Pantyhoser getting a whip to the outside, but she does get hit out. And Bruiser scores 5 more points for Ohio.
Yep. Low block being called there on Kilbasa.
Pantyhoser really upset about that low block.
Yeah. But she got the call, so.
She did get the call.
No points for CN Power on that one, but some more do come in for Ohio. They're now at 172, CN Power at 88. 1 minute left on the period clock. Well, it will be just under 1 minute by the time this jam starts. Hellion Boy at the front, trying to get past Megamouth and Nasher the Smasher. Knocked to the inside by Nasher.
She gets a forearm penalty.
That's a major forearm on Nasher. That will be her 7th trip to the box, by the way. Bomber gets lead. They're going to call it, and the CN Power will call a timeout, stopping that clock.
Motion's getting a little heavy and hot here, so I think they're just taking that minute to use the next 17 seconds of this game to not only get one more jam in, but to just calm down, put their best line out, and finish strong.
I think so, too. I think CN Power is going to, I think certainly a point of pride would be if they can hit that triple-digit mark, which is certainly achievable. They can get 12 points on this jam. The Nasher the Smasher has fouled out. Penny Whistler is escorting her off the track. And she's headed off to the dressing room area.
Yeah. Penny Whistler checking with the opponent's coach to make sure that she can sit in the stands and watch the last 17 seconds of the game.
And I think that's a reasonable request.
Yeah. And Ohio grants her that.
Yeah. Now, I've heard nothing but great things about Ohio from our friends at Tri-City. They played them last year, and Ohio came up this weekend to play in Tri-City. And everybody I've spoken to in Tri-City had really favorable things to say about this group of women. And we're happy to have them here at the bunker. But this last jam, it's Betty Bomber, number 23, jamming for CN Power. 23 also Phoenix Buns for Ohio. The two 23s are going to close this one out.
And pink 23 gets lead jammer. That's Betty Bomber. And Phoenix Buns is going to have to get past Megamouth. And Betty Bomber called out on a cut major. She just dropped one skate down on the inside line, and it was enough.
So she was your lead jammer. Phoenix Buns, not your lead, is the only jammer. And we still have about a minute left on the jam clock. This one will go a little bit longer.
She did score 4 points on that pass. Rebel trying to get into position to stop her was unsuccessful, and Cookie Dough is released from the penalty box. She was put there serving Nasher's last few seconds of her penalty that put her out of this game. And once again, 5 points scored for Ohio, thanks to Phoenix Buns. Number 7 being called off on her 4th minor. That's Rebel Rocket in pink. Penalty trouble definitely hurting CN Power this afternoon.
Yeah, Ohio bench telling Phoenix Buns to call it, but she's not in lead because that was Bomber. Bomber released just as the time runs out. And it looks like we're waiting for the official final score. It looks like it was CN Power's streak that ended today. And Ohio is going to continue theirs. This will give them a 6th sanctioned victory in a row, putting them to 12-1 on the year. Ohio cementing their status in the top 10 of the North Central.
We have an unofficial final score of 197 for Ohio and 91 for CN Power.
So a big second half for Ohio. Like you said, a lot of penalty trouble for CN Power in that second half. They also had some injury trouble as they lost both Aston Martini and Bambi after the first half, causing them to have to shake up not just their blocker lines, but their jammer rotation. It's a nice countering, though, with the use of Betty Bomber and Pantyhose are both on the jammer line. Cookie Dough as well. And the able-bodied members of CN Power are still lining up now for the farewell handshakes with Ohio. Ohio taking a 13-point lead at the half, winning by a margin of 106. So definitely a huge, huge second half for Ohio. Showing clearly why they are at 7th in the North Central. But not a shabby effort at all by CN Power today.
Absolutely not. I think that they were hoping for more, especially after last night. Tri-City coming in so tight and close to Ohio, definitely closing their own gaps. It really just shows CN Power that Tri-City is not quite as far away from gaining the lead as they had hoped.
That's right.
Two very similar, strong teams here.
Yeah, I think CN Power definitely has to be very happy and satisfied with that first half. They closed a couple of serious deficits. At one point, they were down by only 1 point. Even going into the half, down by 13. It certainly showed what they're capable of.
And absolutely, I think that this will also prove to give them some depth on the bench as well. I mean, losing Aston and Bambi in that second half showed the strength of those two players and also what they need to work on for the next game, so that they're putting contingency plans in place and maybe training Hoser and Bomber to jam more in a CN Power setting, so that they're ready to be that backup.
That's right, because they're coming in. A couple of people they were missing today were people that have on occasion put on the star for CN Power this year, both Dinah Hercha and Santa Muerta. Santa with a knee injury. She's got a sprained ligament. Dino, of course, with a broken wrist.
And Bruceberry Pie often will take on the Jammer Star and
That's
barrel
right.
her way through. So we didn't see her on this afternoon's roster. So I think that's clear where their backups normally lie and where they can build that depth for future games.
Yeah, but it certainly showed that there's more depth, I think, than people realize on CM Power, and they showed it today. And now they're going to have a bit of a break. Their next skating will be at the Brouhaha in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So that'll be coming up later. But later on today, in about just under 20 minutes, looks like we'll be seeing the Bay Street Bruisers, CM Power's compatriots as the B travel team now for Toronto. Will be taking on Ohio's Gangrene, their B team. And you'll be calling that one later on this afternoon, won't
Yes,
you?
I will.
And I think you'll be joined by Captain Lou Albamo, our friend from Tri-City. He'll be taking the mic for that one. So I'm going to sign off.
Excellent.
And I'm going to sit down and recover. It's really hot in here.
Oh.
I wasn't even skating.
Try throwing skates on and skating in this heat. Come on, man.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting the wrap-up signal from our folks here at TORD TV. So thank you. It's wonderful working with you, Chrome.
As always. And I will be back in 18 minutes to call the next bout.